Do you want to know why somebody might ignore those red flags when getting into a relationship with a narcissist? I've been there and I did it myself, and I ignored them to my own detriment. And I'm going to tell you why I think people ignore those red flags when they're getting into a relationship with a narcissist. Hi, I'm Rebecca Zung, and I've been recognized as one of the top attorneys, best lawyer in America by U.S. News and many other outlets. And I have written 2 best-selling books, Negotiate Like You Matter and Breaking Free, a Step-by-Step Divorce Guide. And what I do is I help people negotiate with narcissists. I help you break free by creating the strategy, the leverage, and the information that you need to know to successfully negotiate with difficult or toxic personalities. And if that sounds good to you, if that's what you want, then go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell, and that way you'll get notified when I upload new content and new videos. So let's talk about why we ignore those red flags when you are dealing with a narcissist and getting into that relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or a business relationship or any other kind of relationship. It really doesn't matter, but they are very, very similar. The narcissists, the people who are in my private Facebook group, which you are certainly welcome to join, by the way, is Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. And the people in the private Facebook group often say, wow, I can't believe how similar they are. I can't believe that they all seem to have the same playbook. They're actually a very simple personality to understand. It's crazy because it's sort of this great paradox that they are the most difficult to deal with and at the same time the most simple to understand. But that's what we're dealing with here. So the good news is they're simple to understand. The bad news is they're toxic and heinous. Anyway, you can understand them by understanding that they start off with love bombing, and they appear perfect and very charismatic, and charisma boiling over, and just exuding everything wonderful. And they are extremely good at reading people. And so they understand right away what it is that they need to do to appear perfect for you. And as I've said before, if it's a business relationship, they have the perfect resume, they know all the right people, they have the right contacts, they have the most perfect skills, whatever it is, to appear wonderful for you in a business setting. And if it's a romantic setting, then they're, doing everything, including, basically kissing and rubbing your feet and feeding you grapes off the thing, like you're like the Roman god. And that's how they are in the beginning. And you just are completely swept off your feet. So then when the devaluing starts and that passive aggressive kind of thing starts, first of all, one of the reasons why you may ignore those red flags is because you're already in the relationship at that point. Now you're in it. Maybe you've moved in with the person. Maybe you've created a business partnership with them. So you hope that it's just a fluke. You hope that it's just a one-time thing. You hope that, okay, maybe they were having a bad day. Maybe you're reading it wrong. Maybe because they're so great in every other way. So when it first happens, you go, okay, that didn't feel good. But maybe it's a figment. Maybe it's just something that just happened one time. And so you ignore that red flag. You go, okay. And so that's the first reason. You just think that it's a one-time thing. It's a fluke. And so you just keep going on. And now you're deeper into this relationship, and you're starting to see more things. But you also start to see that they have this fragile sense of self. And they start telling you things, and especially if they're a covert narcissist, they might tell you about their horrible childhood. They might tell you about their fears on things or whatever. And so while they're devaluing you and not providing any sense of emotional anything to you, so you're depositing into this relationship, deposit, and you're not getting anything out of it. And you're starting to realize, hey, I'm doing most of the work here. If it's a business relationship, I bet you that you're doing the majority of the work. You're doing the one, you're the one who's running things or getting things done or talking to people or bringing in the leads or setting up the bank accounts and setting up the systems or whatever it is. And they're just over there and taking it, but they act like they're involved. And they even kind of tell you that they're involved, and these are all the things that they're doing. And you're sort of like thinking, well, okay, I guess so. And same thing if it's in a romantic relationship. All of a sudden you're doing everything. And then when you ask them to help, they get angry. They get resentful. I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it, or whatever it is. And it's this passive aggressive thing. And so it gets confusing because you're thinking, okay, I think I'm getting something out of this, but I'm not sure. But when they start to reveal things to you, like they had this terrible childhood, or they have issues with depression, or somebody else was awful to them and they're a victim of someone. Maybe it was their parent, maybe it was another relationship, maybe it was another business relationship. And so you start to go, well, maybe I can help this person. Maybe I can make them better. Because, narcissists and empaths, they have this symbiotic relationship, but, maybe you're thinking, I can help them. I can save them. I can make them better. I can love them back to health. We empaths, we think we can love everyone back to health. We think we can change the world. And so maybe you stay in the relationship because you think you can help them. And so you see these red flags, but you think, well, I think I can make it better. So that's the second reason. And if you've seen these red flags and you have ignored them, give me a no more ignoring in the comments, because we're not going to do that anymore. No more ignoring. Our eyes are wide open from now on. Okay? So, I think a lot of times that we are in these relationships and we think, well, it's not all bad. It's not bad all the time. Sometimes it's good. And so I think that's really kind of another reason that we ignore those red flags, because it's not bad all the time. And I think another reason that we ignore these red flags is because maybe it's in our own neuronal patterning. So when we were children, certain neuronal patterns formed inside of our brains, and we became who we are. We drew conclusions about who we are, and even if it's not necessarily comfortable or you don't like it, it's comfortable to be with someone who is not necessarily the nicest to us. Maybe we our own selves didn't have the best childhood, and we don't feel the greatest about ourselves. We have our own issues with self-worth, or we have our own issues with valuing ourselves, or allowing ourselves to be treated in a certain way. And maybe we're just used to that. Maybe that's something that it's sort of like putting on an old pair of sneakers. They're comfortable, but they're not the greatest, So we just go right back to that sometimes. We tracked that into our lives because that's what we're used to. So I think that that's another reason why we sometimes ignore red flags. But when you are getting ready to break up this relationship, whether it's in a business setting or a romantic setting, you should no longer ignore those red flags. This is the time that your eyes need to be wide open, because you need to be seeing what's going on and looking for red flags of times that they may be doing stuff behind your back, lining up smear campaigns, flying monkeys, people like that. If you want to know more about shutting down a narcissist smear campaign, check out my video on that. And just make sure that you're observing what's going on, because you're going to need to know that information when you go to negotiate with them. Every single piece of information is going to become a pattern, become something that you will be able to use when you are developing your strategy and your leverage in negotiating with a narcissist. And that S&L, strategy leverage, that's the first part of the methodology in my SLAY program. Strategy, leverage, anticipate, and focus on you and your case. So if you're getting ready to negotiate with a toxic or difficult personality, or negotiate with anyone, go ahead and grab my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet at winmynegotiation.com. And you can join me in my free private Facebook group as well, of course, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. And if you like this video, make sure you like it, share it, drop me a comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Don't you want to get out of that relationship with that narcissist? Subscribe and hit that notification bell. And thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Rebecca Zung, and I will see you in the next video.